I wanted to do a bit more of a chatty video today, so I've decided to do one about my university experience. So I've seen a couple of videos and some blog posts about this topic this year and last year, and it's the start of a new academic year, so I thought I would throw my 2 cents in and do a video about my personal university experience. Everyone has taken different routes, so some people have been to university, some people haven't, so I think it's really interesting to see how other people have tackled it and their experiences, so I thought I would do a video myself and tell you what I think of it, like before, during and after, like since university, and any tips that I have, and yeah, so let's get started on uni. I also wanted to do this video because I'd never done a chatty, just chatting to you at the camera. I do sort of stuff like hauls and lookbooks and favourites. I've never done a video where I just sit and chat about my thoughts and my feelings and my experiences to the camera. I've never done anything like that, so I thought it might be a nice change maybe for my channel to do something like this, and hopefully that you like it and it goes down okay. If not, then I won't do loads of these videos, but I enjoy watching these types of videos. I love it when Lily Melrose makes videos where she just sits and chats to the camera about her thoughts, so I thought I would try one out myself and see what the outcome is. So hopefully you don't mind this very rambly, very long video, and if you don't like it then just click X in the corner. You don't have to watch this ramble if you don't want to, but if you do want to, then carry on watching to hear all about how I found university and what I thought about it. I want to start off by saying that I was one of those people who always wanted to go to university. There was no question about it, I wanted to go. So let's put that one out there. I wasn't one of these people who wasn't sure. I knew from a young age that I wanted to go to university. Also, I always wanted to live away for a university. I never ever wanted to commute from home and go to a uni really locally. I always said that I was going to live away no matter what, and yeah, I decided that early on. Throughout school and GCSEs and A-levels, I was always really interested in fashion. I did textiles and all that sort of thing, so I always wanted to study fashion at university. Originally I wanted to do design, so when I was sort of in sixth form, like 17, 18, and started looking at universities, I started looking at purely fashion design, but I hadn't taken art as an A-level, and I was told by my teachers at GCSE if I didn't take art for A-level then I would never ever be able to go to university for fashion. So moral of the story, don't listen to your teachers, because you can do what you want. If you try hard enough then you can do what you want. So teachers don't know everything. That's the first tip. So a lot of the courses that I wanted to study on said if you didn't have art then you needed to do a foundation degree. So that would be a year at sort of an art college before I went to university in order to bump up my art and design skills. So I knew that certain universities I wanted to go to, such as I think Liverpool, John Moores, I would have to do an extra year before I went away to that university. As I have mentioned in another of my videos, but not mentioned much, when I was 17 my dad passed away, so I don't want to talk about that bit, but it meant that I wasn't ready to go to university at 18 because I didn't want to leave home straight away. So I decided no matter what university I went to, even if they didn't require a foundation degree, I wanted to do a foundation degree year at home before I moved away. So I decided to do a foundation degree locally about half an hour's drive away from me at art university college, and I have mixed feelings about that, if I'm honest, because I went with some really good friends and had a really good time, but on my course I hated my tutor, like hated her, and she pretty much hated me because I didn't turn up very often. And I'm not advising that you do that, but I didn't really like college because she told me that I wouldn't be able to get into university to do fashion, I would have to do textiles, and I didn't want to do textiles and print and all of that, so I didn't turn up that often. So I'm not advocating that because that is not the way to go, but I really enjoyed the work that I did on a foundation year because it broadened my skills so much, because we did photography, fine art, like graphics type things, 3D modelling type things, all manner of things I hadn't done before because I hadn't done art. So I would say if you don't have that much of an art background, and you would like to do something art at university, a foundation degree is really, really good if they do something like a carousel that I did, of taking you around different specialisms before you specialise into what I did, and I specialised into fashion. So yeah, I had great friends at college, and I had so much fun. We had the most funny times, but I didn't like going to college. So I did all my work at home. That's what I didn't not do the work, I just did the work at home. And I came out with a merit, so it goes pass, merit, distinction, and I was really pleased with that because I'd only expected to get a pass, so to get one above that I was really pleased, and my tutor was really surprised because she didn't think that I'd actually done any work. So I would say a foundation degree is definitely a good idea if you, like me, don't have much art on your educational CV or whatever you want to call it, to get into university. I would definitely recommend doing a foundation degree. And if you're not quite ready for uni and you think you need a little tester to see if that's the route you want to go down, then that is definitely a good idea. When I started looking at universities whilst I was at college, I looked at a few different ones from the ones I was looking at whilst I was still at school, because my taste had changed. I didn't know if they were the courses that I wanted to do anymore, so I started changing where I wanted to go basically. So in the end I applied for Bath, Nottingham-Trent, Winchester, Southampton, and I can't remember the final one because I applied for 5, and I went for interviews at Bath, Southampton. I had one booked for Nottingham and I had one booked for, where was the other place? Winchester. So I went to the interview at Bath, and this one was one-on-one with the tutor, and he looked through my work. He stayed silent the entire time, and I just had to flick through my work and explain it all, so that was quite difficult. And then the Southampton one, they took our portfolios and looked at them, sent us off as a group, looked at our portfolios without us there, and then we just heard back if we got in. The interviews that I had scheduled for Nottingham and Winchester I actually cancelled, because once I found out I was in at Southampton, I just had this vibe about Southampton that I wanted to be there. I went to Southampton Solent University, so not the uni of, I went to the Solent one that's in the town centre. So once I went down for my interview to Southampton, I just got a feeling that Southampton is where I wanted to go for university. So that is where I picked, and that is why I went to university there, because I just got a gut feeling that that was the right place for me. It wasn't where people thought I should go, it was just where I wanted to go. So that made me 2.5 hours away from my hometown, and I thought that was a fair enough distance. It wasn't too far, it was far enough to get an experience of somewhere else, somewhere I'd never been before. And yes, that was my experience before I went to university. Right, now you're going to be really confused because I've changed my top, but I was roasting alive in that jumper, so I've changed into this instead because it's a lot cooler. Anyway, that aside, this is my experience during university. As I said before, I went to Southampton Solent University, which is in the south of England, in case you don't know where Southampton is, and I went to study fashion, promotion and communication. I would say that overall I loved university. There were obviously times that I didn't like, but looking back I would do anything to be back at university. I absolutely loved it. In first year I was put into halls, so that's like halls of residence. So I don't know if it called anything different where you live, but yeah, I was put into halls of residence, and it makes me happy thinking about it. I loved halls. At my university there were several different halls of residence around the city centre, and in mine there were 3 tower blocks, and I was on the 5th floor. Makes me sad. I was on the 5th floor, and they were set up in sort of, on each floor there was 2 flats. So I was in one flat, and how many were there? There were 7 of us in our flat, so each had our own room with desk, bed, ensuite. That was the best bit about it. We had our own ensuites, and then a shared kitchen with like 2 fridges, 2 cookers, blah blah blah. And so we didn't have any sort of like living room area or anything like that, but we had this little window alcove that like hung out from the building, and we got a duvet and we put it in the window, and people would just be like chilling in the window. As it got to the end of the first year of university, I started to say that I felt really boxed in and my room was really small and I felt a bit claustrophobic just living in this small room. But I loved first year of university, and I would definitely recommend, if you can get into halls, then I would apply for halls, because you can make friends really easily of people that aren't on your course and from all different areas of the university and the areas of the country and the world and blah blah blah. But it's a really great way to make friends with people that you wouldn't ever have met before. So I loved halls and I would definitely live there again. And we had the luxury of someone taking our bins out and cleaning our kitchen 5 days a week, so we didn't have to worry about that. We just had to clean our own room and our own shower area. So I'll insert a couple of pictures of my uni halls and my housemates here around somewhere. But yeah, I really liked halls. Living arrangements: in second year I lived in a house of 8 people, so five of us from my hall's flat, and then we added a couple of people in, and it was this huge house, and I got the biggest room. Everyone let me have the biggest room, and I was so grateful for that. I absolutely loved my room. I filled it with so much furniture. It was like my dream room. Apart from in the cold weather, it was freezing because it had really high ceilings, so it was really hard to heat, and it was just a nightmare. It was so cold in there. So I would advise, if you get to pick the biggest room, don't pick the biggest room, because you're never going to be warm enough in there. So I'd say pick a moderate sized room. So that was my house in second year, and in third year I lived with one of my housemates from the first 2 years, and then one of the girls from my course, and then we found someone else, and that was a 4-bedroom house, and I didn't have the biggest room then, but I still had a fairly big room. And yeah, so I lived in halls, an 8-bed and then a 4-bed, and out of all 3, halls are my favourite. And I hated living in shared housing. It's not that I hated the people that I was living with, but I couldn't deal with the mess. I couldn't deal with people not washing up, people not taking the bins out, people not cleaning the shower, and I just hated it. I'm not going to go massively ranting about that, because people at the time, my friends, knew that I couldn't deal with that. So yeah, I just didn't like the whole having to share cleaning and certain people not being as clean as other people, and yeah. But it was great having a sofa and a living room, but I would have preferred, if I could have chosen, I would have stayed in halls for all 3 years. But that's my personal choice. If you don't have any problems with other people's hygiene, then you'll be fine. But if, like me, you live with people that aren't really that bothered, whereas my boyfriend, who went to university in Portsmouth, his housemates, if you didn't tidy up a plate, you would get shouted at. So, well, not shouted at, but you'd get snidey remarks about, oh, you're not going to clean it up then, or whatever. So there's completely different experiences across the board. You can get really clean people, or same people as you, or messy people. It just depends on how you deal with it. But personally, that's how I dealt with it. I didn't like being at my houses because of the mess. Not because of the people, it was because of the mess. So I spent a lot of the time throughout second and third year, well, not a lot of the time, every single weekend, pretty much Friday to Monday, I went and stayed at my boyfriend's house in Portsmouth, where he was at university, because obviously I liked being with my boyfriend and his house was clean. And I do feel that I missed out a lot on university. Not missed out a lot, I don't know how to word this, because I haven't really worded this to anyone before, but I do feel that I missed out a lot on my personal university and my friends at university, and that I do think that is one regret that I have from university. I don't want to have many regrets because it was such a good period of my life, but that is one regret that I do have, sort of. For an example, on Saturday nights there was this club that everyone went to called Chaos, and I never ever went because I was always at Luke's in Portsmouth. So I feel that I missed out on making really good friendships at my university because I was at his university. So if I could change one thing, I would spend more time at my university, because I do think I would have made stronger friendships if I'd have stayed at my university. But I made my choice and I have my boyfriend. So there's been upsides and downsides to not spending as much time as I could at my university, but the main thing was I didn't like the situation at my houses, the cleanliness, so it kind of pushed me to go and stay at his more than it would have done if my houses were really clean and habitable. So yeah, that is my living experiences, and I would say that if I could have chosen, I would have stayed at Halls for the 3 years, and if I could go back and change anything, I'd probably spend a few more weekends at my university and spending a bit more time going out with my housemates rather than going to Portsmouth all the time, because I think that I should have made more effort in that sense. Anyway, getting a bit deep there. In terms of the work and university projects and things like that, I have always been someone who gets really worried about work and everything has to be perfect and in on time, and I'm a complete perfectionist. So I wasn't one of those people who sort of said, oh well, I won't worry about it, I'll leave it till the last minute. I worked my arse off through university and did several all-nighters, even in first year, because I was really worried about first year. I know everyone says, oh, you don't need to worry about that. And my university work didn't actually count first or second year. Everything rested on the final year's work. I still worked my arse off through university because that's just the kind of person I am. So in that sense, I worked really, really hard through university and probably missed a few nights out because I was too busy working on my work. And as lame as that may be, I am proud of my work ethic, so I would not change that because I came out of university with first and I'm proud of that. So that is the work side of stuff. I finished university in May of 2013 and graduated in November 2013, so we are now in October 2014. So it's been nearly a year and a half, or is it? Yeah, it's nearly a year and a half since I finished university. And going into fashion, I knew that I would need to do internships. And last summer I'd said to myself, right, I've been working my arse off for the past 3 years, I'm just going to have the summer to just have a breather and figure out what I want to do, and then I'll start doing some internships. So from October to December of last year, I carried out a couple of internships at in PR firm, a magazine, I did a week at ASOS, and then I assisted as a stylist in the January, and then I've done a social media internship for 3 months, and I didn't realise how stressful it is doing an internship because I don't live in London and I can't afford to live in London, so working for sort of £200 a month when my train ticket was costing £600 and something a month is just not feasible. So I really don't like the whole internship system. I really think it's wrong. I'm not going to go massively into it, but the one thing that I regret at university is I wish that in the summers in between the years that I'd carry out internships when I had my student loan supporting me and I was able to be in that position. But stupidly at the time I thought, oh, it's the summer holidays, I want to have fun, and I didn't do any internships whilst at university. So I think that was to my detriment, because since then I've had to do internships because I didn't do any at university, so I didn't have much experience on my CV. So my top tip is, if you want to do something that you know you'll have to do internships with, or even anything, just get experience in the summer holidays because it'll be invaluable to you after university and getting a job. So that is my top thing that I wish that I had done whilst at university, because it would have stood me in such better stead now if I'd have got experience whilst at university and made those contacts. Whilst I do question whether getting a degree has been the most beneficial to me getting into a job right now, I do know deep down that eventually it will stand me in good stead because I am degree educated, but I now realise that everything really these days is not about your education like it once used to be. It's now about who you know, your experience, and being in the right place at the right time. I think the job situation as it is now is a lot of luck and a lot of who you know. So I would definitely say that going to university, whilst I would never change it, sometimes I wonder if I would have been easier getting into a job if I'd just got experience from the age of 18. I really don't know. I don't want to be all downer on the whole university thing, but I definitely recommend whilst at university get experience, because that is the most valuable thing on your CV, not necessarily what grade you get in your degree or in any of your schoolwork. It's more about experience these days. I wanted to do just a few, like a roundup of top tips and things about university that I would recommend from my personal experience. So definitely before you go to university, check that the places you're applying to are places that you want to go, because you have to think that you have to live there for the next 3, 4, maybe even longer years. So check that that is the place that you want to go, and if you don't have that gut feeling, then maybe rethink where you want to go at university, because you have to enjoy your university town and be happy living there, if you live away that is. Whilst you're at university, I would definitely say make the most of every minute. It'll go by quicker than you can imagine. It will go by so fast that you'll think, did I even go to university? So take every opportunity that's given to you, make the most of every moment that you have with your friends and nights out and just being silly, like having food fights and just silly stuff like that. Just make the most of every single moment, because those are the stories that you'll remember in years to come, not how many marks you got on that particular test. It will all be about the stories that you have to tell with your friends from university. So make the most of every moment. Get experience. Whilst you may want to have fun like I did in your summer holidays, the important thing is to get experience. Even if you just do a month's experience in the whole of your, say, 3-month holiday, then you're a month better off of experience on your CV. So try your hardest to get experience whilst you're at university. Something that not necessarily a tip, but something I would definitely recommend is living away. I personally don't think if you live at home and commute to uni that you get the same experience. I think living away, you get the whole university experience of making friends, going on nights out and being fully involved in it. And I know some people may say it's not for them, but I would highly, highly recommend moving away. I would highly recommend moving away if you can, if your financial situation is okay for it and all that sort of thing. But yeah, I think it makes you grow more as a person at university, because you have to fend for yourself and do your own washing and do your own cooking and do your own cleaning, and you have to look after yourself. So I would definitely recommend moving away if possible for you. And finally, I would say that university isn't for everyone. If you feel pressured to go to uni and you don't think it's right for you, then don't go. You don't have to go. And if you change your mind in a couple of years, you can go in a couple of years. When you're 18, a lot of people don't know what they want to do, and a lot of them are pressured into university, and then they feel that they've wasted their time because they've got a degree in something they don't even enjoy. So I would say definitely don't feel pressured whatsoever to go to university. Everyone takes different paths, and so many people I know haven't been to university and they've done fine. Your university is not for everyone, so do not feel pressured to go if it's not your kind of thing, because it's not everyone's thing. It was my thing, but it might not be your thing. So you can be successful without university. If just Google successful people that didn't go to university, and you'll have like people like Richard Branson, I swear he didn't go to university, and all people like that, and look how successful they are. So it's not for everyone, and don't feel pressured to go just because someone says you should. So just take your own path and do what you think is right for you right now, because it could be right for you when you're 21 and you could go then, or when you're 30, because my parents got degrees later on in their lives and just did sort of like evening classes because they decided that they wanted to get their degree later on and they didn't when they were younger. So just do it if it feels right for you, not if people say it's right for you. Yes, that is my overall tip. That is the main one, the very most important one. Don't go if it's not right for you, but go if you think it is right for you. that is everything that I can think of about university that I want to tell you, and I want to impart my personal experience with you. I can't really think of anything else that I want to say, and this has been an extremely, very rambly video, and people may think, God, I'm not watching that, that's a long ass video, but even if one person watches this and they find it useful or helpful, then that makes me feel better about it, and I'm glad that I made this video. So I hope that you have been interested listening to my story of university. All that's left for me to say is thank you for watching, if you've watched all the way to the end of this long ass video, but hopefully you have, and if you enjoyed it and you're not already subscribed to my channel, then please subscribe to my channel. I don't just make chatty long ass rambly videos, I make other videos as well, so yeah, subscribe if you're not already subscribed, and hopefully I'll see you in my next video.